on tape?
You know, it's a lot of the same guys back from last year, but they're playing at a higher level. They're having a lot of fun. They're playing fast, more experienced. Looks like on the defensive line they slimmed down a little bit, but they're playing great with their hands. They're moving well. Linebackers are very active, make a lot of plays. They got two really, really good corners, and the safeties are aggressive in the run game.
Tony, what are the biggest things you want to get accomplished in these bowl practices? What do you want to see your offense do better?
Well, just consistency. You know, we've had several games where we've had a lot of yards, but it hasn't been as clean as we would like. So just getting back to the basics, the fundamentals, being able to consistently execute, not beat ourselves, focusing on turnovers, ball security, getting back to the basics on ball security, going back to day one drills. Just continue to improve, get better at understanding what we're trying to do on the offense, and get down the plan for by the time we get down to the bowl game. So once we get down there, we can just polish the plan.
What are the big differences you see from this year's Oklahoma's team versus last year?
You know, I haven't seen them on offense, but I hear that they're really, really good on offense. They can run the ball, which was a little bit different than last year. So they're a lot more consistent on offense. That gives their defense a lot of confidence. They're executing at a high level. They're confident. They're flying around. They're stopping the run, and they're making you beat them with the pass. And when you decide to pass, they're able to come up and challenge you. So they're just playing at a higher level, executing better, and it seems like they know the system a lot better.
Do you think you guys have an advantage that you had to play in an ACC championship game in that kind of atmosphere, and they didn't really have to play in that yet?
You know, I don't know when you're talking about Oklahoma, because they're used to playing on the big stage. So I think that every game that they play in their conference, and it's Oklahoma, one of the most storied programs in all of college football. I think it helped us from the standpoint of we had an extra game, so we got a little bit more practice in. We were able to keep our timing 1 week longer than them, but I don't know if this gives us much advantage because they're going to come out fired up, ready to play, and they're used to playing on the big stage just like we are.
What are you guys telling your players? I mean, obviously there's a lot of historical significance with this being undefeated season. You have the first chance to be 15-0. Do you think especially the younger guys on offense, do you think they grasp how special this season can be?
You know, I think they do, but they also have done a great job all season of focusing on which game we're playing. So they're not looking ahead, and we can't be 15-0 unless we win this game. So we're putting everything we into it, and just emphasizing what's gotten us here is Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Tuesday. We go to work every day and taking advantage of these bowl practices to make sure that we put it in the work so that we earn the opportunity to win the game.
Talk about how you've grown in your role this year as a play caller, just what you knew back in August and now what you know now, having been in the battles and drawing up, so to speak, calling it from the call sheet. Just how have you grown? Where have you grown?
You know, I think I've grown in game. You know, being able to make some adjustments. You know, this time last year in the bowl game, you know, I was new. I was up in the box. I was strictly off the call sheet, so I got a better feel of being able to get to the adjustments that I want to make and recalling what I've seen in my mind's eye off of tape. So I feel I've gotten better there. A lot of the credit goes to the players. Learn that you got to keep it simple so that they're confident, and when they're confident, they can go out and execute. Because again, obviously, I get too much credit for the play call. They go out and they execute it. They're confident. They take pride in executing. And but for me, just throughout the course of the week, you know, making sure I'm efficient with my time. So I've gotten better there. And then in game, being able to process the information that I'm getting from all the different sources throughout the course of the game and try to get us into a situation where we can make adjustments and try to get the upper hand from the schematics.
When you rep stuff in practice over and over and over again, you know what your players can execute. Does that in and of itself give you confidence? Well, I know I can call this. I know they're going to execute this, or a high percentage of the execute. Does that give you?
Right. We feed off of each other throughout the course of the week, and we're not going to ask them to do something that they didn't have success in practice, and so they know that they trust that the coaches and myself are not going to put them in a position to not be successful, and so we feed off of each other. And throughout the course of the game, you see what's working, and not being afraid to go back to it. If it's working, and if it's not broke, then don't fix it.
How beneficial has this time off been for Wayne, and how's he look with that ankle?
You know, he looks fine. Haven't noticed anything. I didn't notice anything really in the championship game. You know, he played a ton of snaps, carried it a bunch, and really got hot in the second half. But anytime that at that position where you can take the hits off and let the body recover, and you know, we talked, and he did a good job of just resting a little bit. You know, still working out and staying loose, but not overdoing it. So it was big for him just to kind of let his body, you know, release some of the hits that he's taken all year and get ready to go grind here in practice, because he's got to practice, you know, throughout the course of bowl prep to be ready to play at a high level coming 31st.
Over the summer, you talked about wanting to average 200 yards a game. How big a goal, how good was it to accomplish that goal and get to 200 yards?
You know, I think from obviously stats, everybody looks at stats, but I think it was just a confidence builder for our guys up front. Early in the season, you know, we always talked about averaging 200 yards rushing, but when they started to do it, it was an expectation. And so then that went from, we want to go from 200 to 215 to 225, and we want to be one of the top rushing offenses in the league. And then ultimately the next step is try to be one of the top rushing offenses in the country. And I think overall it's helped us in the passing game as well, because when we can run it and control the clock, but then also set up a play action and then throw it, and we're balanced and we keep people, throughout the course of the game, they got to figure out what they want to stop. And being able to run the ball, they got to commit to running the ball, or else we're going to stay on the field and eat up the clock.
I think Wayne didn't have a ton of success running the ball last year against Oklahoma. What's it going to take to get that running game going this year?
Oh, we're going to have to win in the trenches because they're built to stop the run with their scheme. They give you opportunities to throw it, but we're really challenging our guys. We got to do a little bit to help them schematically and just try to figure out what can be successful against that style of play. And what they do is built to stop the run. They're not going to give you the inside run, and they're going to rally to the ball on the outside run. So we got to help them, but more importantly, we just got to be ready to play. We got to have a great 2 weeks of preparation, and we got to play our best game up front.
Can having Deshaun being a more mobile quarterback than Cole Stout last year kind of help alleviate some of those problems?
It's proven throughout the course of the season that anytime that Deshaun takes off with the ball, he makes us tough to defend. So we're going to have to look for opportunities for him to get involved, but at the same time be able to throw the ball. I think if we can throw the ball, it loosens it up a little bit, and then we can have some success. And we got to stay committed to the run also. We can't give up easily. It's Oklahoma. They're a top 30 defense. They're the best defense in their league. They're built to stop the run, but we're going to have to challenge them. Let's run the ball.
I think Wayne had 170 yards in the second half against North Carolina. Is that a byproduct of him wearing the defense down with his physicality, or is it just a matter of him getting hot, like you said?
I think in the beginning of the game they were going to do whatever they could to try and stop us. So they did a couple of things differently schematically. We made some adjustments. We found a good scheme that exploited Wayne's talents, and he was able to get on the edge and take over. And we challenged him at halftime, and it wasn't all his fault. Obviously 17 yards, but he was effective in the passing game. We were able to throw it a little bit more in the first half. But we challenged him at halftime, and he's the kind of young man that'll respond anytime you challenge him. And he's a tough runner. He's the kind of guy that if it's blocked for 2 yards, he's going to make it 4, because he's going to slam it in there, give up his body for his team, fall forward, and that helps the offensive line. So once they see him running physical and they're able to get more confidence and then really start controlling the line of scrimmage.
You talk about kind of getting a feel for the game as you